Most men think they know what women want in bed. They don't. They're guessing, repeating what they've seen, or doing what worked once and assuming it works forever. But there's a reason most women have had plenty of partners, and almost none of them were memorable. The bar isn't just low, it's in the wrong place entirely. These are 30 intimate needs almost every woman has that barely any men actually satisfy. Some of these will surprise you. A few might challenge everything you thought you knew. And the ones in the second half are the ones no one talks about. So stay until the end. 1. She needs to feel desired before you even touch her. This starts long before the bedroom. It's in how you look at her when she's doing something ordinary, how your eyes follow her when she walks past, the way you pause mid-sentence because you got distracted by her. Most men only show desire when they want something. She feels that. What she's missing is desire that exists just because she exists. When you make her feel wanted before a single button is undone, you've already separated yourself from almost every man she's been with. She notices when you notice her, and she notices when you don't. 2. She needs you to slow down when she speeds up. Here's where most men get it wrong. She starts responding, things escalate, and he matches her energy by rushing forward. But what she actually needs in that moment is for you to pull back slightly. Let the tension stretch. When you slow down while she's heating up, you create a gap that makes her want you more. You're not following, you're leading. And that difference is everything. The men who understand pacing understand something most never will. 3. She needs your hands to communicate what your words don't. Your hands tell her whether you're present or just going through motions. Rushed hands feel like impatience. Hesitant hands feel like inexperience. But hands that move with intention, that grip with confidence and soften at the right moment, those hands speak directly to her nervous system. She doesn't need you to do more with your hands. She needs you to mean it. Trace her skin like you're memorizing it. Hold her like you're not afraid to. Most men underestimate how much information their hands are transmitting, and most of it isn't good. If this is hitting different because you're genuinely trying to understand women better, not just be entertained, type dialed below so we know who's putting in the work. 4. She needs to feel your restraint before your release. Nothing communicates desire like a man who's visibly holding himself back. When she can feel that you want to let go but you're choosing not to yet, that tension does more for her than anything you could say. Restraint isn't about denying yourself. It's about showing her that she's worth savoring, that you're not just trying to get somewhere. You're here, you're in control, and she can feel exactly how much you want her because of how hard you're working to pace yourself. That self-control is more attractive than most men realize. 5. She needs eye contact that doesn't break at the wrong moment. This next one catches almost everyone off guard. There are specific moments where eye contact changes everything, and most men look away right when it matters most. When things get intense, the instinct is to close your eyes or focus elsewhere. But when you hold her gaze during those peak moments, you're creating a level of connection that's almost overwhelming. Not staring, not performing, just staying with her, present, unafraid of the intimacy. That kind of eye contact makes her feel truly seen in a way she's probably never experienced. 6. She needs to hear what you're thinking while it's happening. Silence isn't mysterious, it's disconnecting. She's in her head wondering if you're enjoying this, if she looks okay, if you're even fully there. And you could answer all of that with a few words. Tell her what you're feeling, what you're noticing, what you want to do next. You don't need to narrate everything, but strategic moments of verbal expression pull her out of her head and into the experience with you. The men who can articulate desire in real time create an intensity that silence never could. 7. She needs you to notice when her body changes rhythm. Her body is constantly communicating, speeding up, tensing, shifting, softening. Most men are too focused on what they're doing to notice what she's telling them. But when you catch a subtle change and respond to it without being asked, she feels understood on a level that words can't reach. Maybe her breathing shifted. Maybe she pressed closer. Maybe she pulled back slightly. Each of those is information. The men who read it correctly seem almost intuitive. The ones who miss it seem like they're not really paying attention, because they're not. 8. She needs anticipation that lasts longer than the act itself. If any of those resonated, this one might hit even harder. The build-up matters more than most men think. A look across the room hours earlier. A whispered comment about what's coming later. A touch that promises something without delivering it yet. When you extend the anticipation, you're engaging her mind, and that's where her arousal actually lives. By the time anything physical happens, she's been ready for hours. Most men skip straight to the main event and wonder why she's not as engaged. They started the movie at the climax and missed the entire story. 9. She needs to feel wanted in the moments you're not trying to have her. This separates the men she remembers from the ones she forgets. When you show desire only when you want sex, she starts to feel like a means to an end. But when you show desire with no agenda, pulling her close in the kitchen, watching her with obvious appreciation when she's getting dressed, touching her in ways that aren't leading anywhere, that's when she feels genuinely wanted, not for what she can give you, for who she is. That kind of wanting is rare, and she knows the difference immediately. 10. She needs your intensity matched with your attention. Intensity without attention is just aggression. Attention without intensity is just politeness. What she needs is both. The feeling that you're fully locked in and fully dialed up at the same time. That means you're not just present. You're present and hungry. You're not just attentive. You're attentive and driven. When those two things combine, she feels like the only thing in your world. Like you couldn't look away even if you wanted to. That combination is magnetic, and almost no one gets the balance right. Those were the surface level signals, the needs that show up first. Now let's get into what she requires once things go deeper, where most men start falling short without even realizing it. 11. She needs you to take control without taking over. There's a difference between leading and bulldozing. She wants to feel your direction, your hands guiding her, your voice telling her what you want, your body moving hers where you need it. But she doesn't want to disappear. The moment it feels like she's just along for the ride, something shuts down. The best men lead in a way that still leaves room for her to respond, to participate, to feel like she's part of what's happening rather than just receiving it. Control is attractive. Erasure isn't. Learn to lead while still making her feel like she matters in the moment. 12. She needs the transition from conversation to bedroom to feel seamless. Most men treat these as two separate events. You're talking, laughing, connecting, then suddenly there's a shift, and now it's time. That gear change can feel jarring. What she actually needs is a transition so smooth she barely notices it happened. The conversation gets quieter. You move closer. A touch lingers a little longer. Eye contact holds. There's no announcement, no awkward pivot. One thing becomes the next thing naturally. When you master this transition, she never has to leave one headspace and enter another. She's just carried from one into the next without a single break in connection. 13. She needs you to remember what worked last time without being asked. Pay close attention to this one. When she responded to something, a specific touch, a certain rhythm, something you said, and you remember it next time without prompting, you're showing her something rare. You're showing her that you were paying attention, that her pleasure mattered enough to file away. Most men treat each encounter like a blank slate, making her start over every time. But when you return to what worked, build on it, and refine it without her having to guide you again, she feels known. And feeling known is one of the most arousing things there is. 14. She needs permission to be selfish without feeling guilty. Most women spend the entire experience thinking about you. Are you enjoying this? Is this taking too long? Should I be doing something different? That mental load kills her ability to actually feel anything. What she needs is explicit permission. Sometimes verbal, sometimes just energetic, to stop performing and start receiving. When you make it clear that her pleasure is the point, that there's no clock running, that you're not waiting for your turn, she can finally let go. Most men unintentionally create pressure by seeming impatient. The ones who remove that pressure unlock something most never get to see. 15. She needs you to read hesitation as information, not rejection. This one changes everything if you actually understand it. When she pulls back slightly, pauses, or seems uncertain, most men either push forward or shut down entirely. Both are wrong. Hesitation is data. Maybe she needs a different pace. Maybe something felt off. Maybe she's in her head and needs you to bring her back. The right response is curiosity, not frustration. A soft check-in, a shift in approach. When you treat hesitation as communication rather than rejection, she feels safe enough to stay open. And safety is the foundation of everything else. 16. She needs your confidence to stay steady even when things don't go perfectly. Things will go wrong. Awkward moments happen. Bodies don't always cooperate. Something that worked last time doesn't work this time. What she's watching in those moments is you. Do you get rattled? Do you make it weird? Do you shut down or overcompensate? Or do you handle it with ease, maybe even humor, and keep moving forward like it's not a crisis? Your steadiness in imperfect moments tells her everything about how safe she can feel with you. If you can't handle a small hiccup, she'll never fully relax. But if you can, she'll trust you with much more. 17. She needs to feel your desire for her specific body, not just a body. This one might sting a little, but you need to hear it. She knows when you're attracted to her versus when you're just attracted to the situation. There's a difference between a man who wants sex and a man who wants her. It shows in where your hands go. Do you touch her like you're exploring her specifically, or running a generic routine? It shows in what you notice. Do you comment on things unique to her, or could you say the same words to anyone? When she feels like your desire is tailored to exactly who she is, something primal unlocks. Generic desire doesn't do that. 18. She needs aftercare that doesn't feel like an obligation. What happens immediately after tells her what she actually meant to you. If you roll over, check your phone, or seem like you've mentally moved on, she feels it. The closeness evaporates. But when you stay present, a hand on her skin, words that aren't rushed, eye contact that lingers, she feels held in a way that extends the experience rather than ending it abruptly. Aftercare isn't a chore, it's the final chapter. And men who treat it like an obligation miss the fact that these moments often matter more to her than anything that came before. 19. She needs you to initiate in ways that aren't always obvious. If every initiation looks the same moves, the same timing, the same approach, it starts to feel mechanical. She can predict it, and predictability kills anticipation. What she needs is variety in how you begin. Sometimes it's direct and urgent. Sometimes it's slow and teasing. Sometimes it starts with words. Sometimes it starts with a look that says everything without speaking. When she can't quite predict how or when you'll initiate, she stays alert to you in a way that keeps the spark alive long after the newness has worn off. 20. She needs to feel like you're present, not performing. She can tell when you're in your head, when you're thinking about how you look, how you're doing, whether you're measuring up. That performance energy creates distance even when you're physically close. What she needs is for you to actually be there, not executing moves, not following a script, just responding to her in real time, letting the moment guide you instead of some internal checklist. Presence is felt. It can't be faked. And when you stop performing and start actually being there, she finally feels like she's with someone, not watching someone try to impress her. These patterns go deeper than most men ever think about. But the next 10 are the ones almost everyone misses. The invisible needs that separate forgettable from unforgettable. 21. She needs you to be curious about her pleasure without making it a project. There's a version of attentiveness that backfires. When you turn her pleasure into a goal you're trying to achieve, she feels the pressure. Suddenly it's not about her. It's about you succeeding. She can feel when you're more invested in the outcome than the experience. What she actually needs is genuine curiosity without attachment. You're exploring because you want to know her, not because you need a specific result. That subtle shift changes everything. Curiosity feels like interest. Goal-oriented focus feels like performance review. One of those opens her up, the other shuts her down. 22. She needs to see that turning her on turns you on. This one is more powerful than most men realize. When she can see that her arousal genuinely excites you, not just what it leads to, but the arousal itself, something shifts. She stops feeling like a gatekeeper and starts feeling like a participant. Your excitement about her excitement creates a feedback loop that amplifies everything. But if she senses that her pleasure is just a box to check before you get what you want, that loop breaks. Show her that watching her respond is its own reward, that her enjoyment isn't the means, it's the point. That changes everything. If you're still watching right now, that's your sign this is worth your time. Back it with a like. And if you want more of it without hunting, subscribe and turn on the bell so it comes straight to you. 23. She needs tension that builds outside the bedroom first. Okay, this one changes everything if you actually catch it. The best experiences don't start when clothes come off. They start hours earlier, sometimes days. A lingering look at breakfast, a text in the afternoon that plants a seed, a moment of closeness that almost goes somewhere but doesn't. Yet, when you build tension throughout ordinary life, the bedroom becomes a release of something that's been accumulating. Most men compartmentalize. Intimacy happens here. Regular life happens there. But the men who blur those lines create an anticipation that makes everything more intense when it finally happens. 24. She needs you to hold back sometimes so she can come to you. Always initiating puts you in pursuit and her in retreat. Even if she wants you, that dynamic can start to feel one-sided. Sometimes she needs to feel her own desire build until she's the one reaching for you. That means you have to create space for it. Pull back occasionally. Let the tension sit. When she crosses the gap, when she initiates because she can't wait anymore, it confirms something she needs to feel, that her desire is real and active, not just responsive. You leading is powerful. but her coming to you is a different kind of powerful that she rarely gets to experience. 25. She needs to feel chosen in the middle of it, not just at the start. Here's one most people never think about. Initiation says you wanted her then. But what about during? She needs moments in the middle where she still feels actively chosen. A pause where you look at her like you can't believe she's real. Words that remind her you're not on autopilot. A shift in intensity that says this isn't routine. This is her, right now, and you're fully aware of that. Without those mid-experience affirmations, she can start to feel like once things started, she became interchangeable. Small moments of re-choosing her prevent that entirely. 26. She needs you to be comfortable with what she wants even if it surprises you. She has desires she hasn't told you. Maybe she's hinted. Maybe she's been waiting to see if you're safe enough. What happens when something unexpected comes up tells her everything about whether she can actually be herself with you. If you react with judgment, hesitation, or weird energy, she'll never bring it up again, and a part of her will close. But if you meet it with openness, curiosity, or even enthusiasm, you become someone she can actually explore with. Most men think they're open-minded until something surprises them. She's watching how you handle the surprise. 27. She needs your vulnerability to show up in those moments too. This is the one I wish someone had told me years ago. Most men think they need to be completely in control, totally unaffected, never exposed. But that armor creates distance. What actually deepens intimacy is letting her see that you're affected too, that this matters, that you're not just performing strength, you're present enough to be moved by what's happening. A moment of genuine vulnerability during intimacy isn't weakness. It's proof that you're actually there, that she's having an impact on you. And that reciprocity of being affected is something most women never get to experience. 28. She needs to know you'll still want her when the newness fades. Early attraction is easy. Bodies are unfamiliar. Everything is discovery. But she's thinking ahead, even if she doesn't say it. Will you still look at her like this in a year? In 5? When her body changes? When the novelty wears off? She needs signals, now, that your desire isn't dependent on newness. That you're attracted to her, not just the excitement of something fresh. The men who communicate long-term desire while still in the early stages create a security that lets her fully surrender, because she's not worried about an expiration date. 29. She needs you to understand that her arousal starts hours before you touch her. Her body doesn't work like yours. For most women, arousal isn't a switch. It's a slow build that begins long before anything physical happens. How you treated her that morning matters. Whether she felt connected to you during the day matters. The stress she's carrying, the words you said, the moments of closeness or distance, all of it is either building toward desire or quietly dismantling it. Men who understand this don't just show up ready and expect her to catch up. They lay groundwork, they create conditions, and by the time they reach for her, she's already there. 30. She needs to feel like you actually crave her, not just the act itself. This is the one that separates everything. She knows the difference between a man who wants sex and a man who specifically craves her. The first feels generic. The second feels chosen. It's in whether you'd be just as satisfied with someone else, or whether something about her specifically is what you're after. When she feels like the craving is for her voice, her skin, her particular way of responding, she gives herself fully. But when she senses she's just the available option, part of her holds back. Most men never make her feel specifically craved. The ones who do become impossible to forget. Understanding these needs doesn't mean performing a checklist. It means recognizing what she's actually responding to, and what she's been missing from almost everyone before you. Because once you start paying attention to what creates real desire, you begin noticing something else too. The signals she's already sending. The subtle ways she's trying to pull you closer without saying it directly. Most men miss these completely. And that's exactly why they never get the response they're hoping for. The next video breaks down the specific things women do to sexually attract men that almost no one recognizes, and why catching them changes everything.